Fuck. Now am I live? Jesus, I clicked. I've already had a full conversation with myself, you motherfathers. Man, tough scene. Tough way to get it started. Let's see here. Let's go to this right here. DraftKings Captain Mode. We're up. We're live. Where the hell's my chat? Where the hell's my chat? Get my chat up here. I'll put it up here my damn self. What's up, Aaron? Wasn't that fun doing that? Leroy. Every time I see that, I'm just going to say that. All right, hey, if you guys got any questions, toss them in there. We'll come back and get them. We were just going to talk about this slate tonight, how we're feeling. First of all, let's start with the news, John. It looks like Michael Gallup's out, right?
Gallup's out, and it looks like Dalton Schultz is trending that way too, but we haven't got an official.
Wow. Now, I will say this. If he's out, that really kind of changes my opinion on who I like from what's it called? What's that team called? The Cowboys. That's what they're called. So
they'll open up two serious value pieces on the Dallas side.
Didn't you say something about Jalen Tolbert's playing tonight?
Jalen Tolbert is going to play, so that's a one piece of value. He is, I believe, $1,400 on this slate. So I don't know that people necessarily will want to experiment. He didn't have the best preseason. Oh, he's $1,000. Didn't have the best preseason, so it's unclear like what his usage will be. He was like hyped coming into the season, but then had kind of a dud off season and like fell down best ball draft boards.
Hey,
so,
if you can look at my screen real quick, I just went and took Michael Gallup and put him all at zeros. Where should we put that usage? Fajoku,
you'll see in my ownership,
Tolbert?
I went ahead and in my most recent update for my ownership, I didn't project those guys, but he was in the run of the sim that was run earlier. Wait, maybe he wasn't. Let me see. Did I run my sim with him out? Input.
Is Jalen Tolbert going to get
No,
run?
I run it still with Gallup in. I had it with Schultz out, but Gallup in. So if you look at mine, you'll see Ferguson and Hendershot, who are the two backup tight ends, who are both $200. The Stone Min are both in play, definitely. I did not have an increased target share for Tolbert. But yeah, so we're rerunning the Sims now while we're live. Let's take out Gallup's 10% market share and 11% TD share. And let's I would say Simi probably gets the biggest bump. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep. Bump
so
him up
I think
10?
Simi gets a bump. Yeah, I would say Simi goes to 10 would be mine.
Probably 8
and I would
on
probably
touchdown?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's just do that for now. I'll give him basically 5%.
We got to give
both.
Tolbert something, right?
Yeah, that's what I would give Tolbert
4.
Actually, change his. Let's do 9% market share, 8% touchdowns, and then let's give him 5. Let's give 5% to Tolbert in terms of market share. Okay. And I'm not going to give him. Let's give him 4% of the touchdowns. We're not giving him more. And then so these last ones, I think we should give this last
at least 1%.
Pollard. No, I gave him 4%. I gave Tolbert 4% touchdown share.
All right, so our extra 3.
So we have 3% left. I wouldn't mind giving it to Pollard. I mean, putting him up to 15 or just under 13.9. Or CeeDee Lamb, honestly. Why does CeeDee Lamb have less of a touchdown target market share than Noah Brown in this projection?
Okay.
That's
I do not know what it is doing here.
So let's give it 22, and I'm going to drop him down to 16.
11, so 3. So you're saying bump CD up to 20?
Yeah, so here's what I've done in mine. I made Tony Pollard's touchdown share 11.5. I made CD's touchdown share 22. I made Noah Brown down to 16. Honestly, I might reduce that further if I want to move some points. 8% on Simi and 4%
Are you okay with these? What they're giving these two tight ends here, Hendershot and Ferguson? That's a big market share. 14% market.
25% of the touchdowns go to two ends that they both played in the preseason. So Ferguson was a higher draft pick. He's a 4th round draft pick, and Hendershot had a really nice preseason. So, like in terms of trying to figure out who's going to get the usage there, no fucking clue. In terms of simming this out, what I would almost rather do, and it's hard to do in Sims because you can't really do it, you have to do it 2 ways, is I'd like to keep I think the target share for any individual of them is fine, right? So saying Ferguson gets 10% market share or Hendershot gets an 8% market share or 10%, whatever, is fine. Saying they both get that is where the problem is. And so what I would want to sim is 0% for one dude never gets on the field, 10% for the other, and then do the reciprocal, right? But since they're the same price, you don't actually have to do that. What you have to do is I would just zero out one of them and then know in your head that Ferguson and Hendershot
I'm just going to warn you, you're awfully choppy. You're sounding like fucking Max Headroom from the 80s.
Oh no, really?
Little digital. Let's run the Sims. Well, now you're fine. Were you doing something weird?
No, my mic was just in a weird spot, so I
now.
just slid it away from my computer. So maybe it was too close to my. I don't know, dude. I don't know technology.
All right. So with those ones that we had, by the way, I just left those inputs the same for those 2 tight ends.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ferguson,
Except they're gonna have
15%.
super high
Wow.
appearances. Yeah. So you basically, I would basically go back to your inputs and just kill one of them. Let's kill one completely. Let's kill Hendershot completely.
Which one do you think is more likely to kill?
Just kill Hendershot. It doesn't matter. Basically, the thought here is when we sim it, we just need to know that basically. Oh, you don't have to kill that. And so let's give CD's already got a pretty good market share. That's good. Let's bump Simi up to 15%.
Okay.
And
what
let's bump Pollard up to let's bump.
You're not feeling the Tolbert train tonight, huh?
Nah, dude, he's a rookie. And
you're disappearing again. You're disappearing.
Oh, shit, dude. What's up with this mic? Is this any better? Let me move this. I'm trying to move this mic to an area where I'm.
I don't know. It sounds more like a connection issue than an audio issue. You sound fucking crystal clear. It's just it just seems like it's coming in and out. You fucking downloading a movie or something right now, and it's sucking up all your internet.
I mean, I'm not, but who knows what the fuck the kids are doing. So sorry, dude. If my internet is not working well, I'm not sure if there's anything I can do.
So you want to bump up Tolbert at all?
I'm not super keen.
You want to bump up Tolbert?
Because he's only $1,000, you don't really have to. Like, he's going to appear pretty high in Sims. Go ahead and give him a 7%. Give him 7 and 6, and then let's give the rest to to Pollard. Give any delta to Pollard.
Boy, you're just trying to get Pollard up there. Yeah. You want to bump Pollard up to 18% touchdown market share? We got 7 left.
18.
Let's split it between the 2 running backs. We'll go 14 here. What? I'm just trying to look. We got to get it to 100%, you motherfather.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. We got to get.
I took a. Hendershot had like a huge touchdown market share. So
yeah, that's cool. So maybe give that last 1% to Tolbert just to even him out at 7 and 7. We'll say any of his catches have just as much likelihood of going for a tape.
All right, there we go.
It always cracks me up when dudes are like,
okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good, actually. So basically, what we're going
to do is we're going to look at this and.
Anytime it says Ferguson, we just need to be thinking that's Ferguson.
It might be me. It looks like
we killed them.
It might be my internet. Maybe I got that Oklahoma internet. It's just a oh fuck. Did it just undo all my work? Does it save it whenever you change them?
If you click save.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't click shit. God. All right, we're having some technical difficulties. Let's just talk about the game in general while my fucking slapdick Oklahoma internet tries to get figured the fuck out.
Okay. So, yeah, game-wise generally. Yep, can you hear me? This is some riveting audio.
Yeah, I can hear you. Fuck.
Okay, so
this is
great. The most popular captain by far is going to be Saquon Barkley. I think he will be. I think I have him about 24% in my ownership projections, and so he's going to be a massive ownership. And so if you're trying to get different on this slate, I think everyone thinks this is going to be a grinded out running game, right? And so it's really similar to when we talked about. What slate was it? Cleveland and the Steelers, right? Where everyone was pretty sure that was just going to be a grinded out defense and on the ground game. But Jacoby came out in gunsling. So it ended up as the optimal captain. And so I think this is a pretty similar spot where the field is going to overplay running backs. And so to the extent you want to gamble. Did you lose
I see what's happening right now. They're updating their stats right now. That's what's going on. That's why I run the Sims is it wasn't me. I just saw that they just added. If you go look right now, they're updating it. Yeah, they're because I just noticed that Rico Dowdle, he just got some love. They're switching people around right now.
Okay, so they're probably doing their best bet to update their internal inputs. So that's fine. Yeah. We can just talk through the slate while they're doing that, and then we can go give them a couple.
Let's do it.
So like I was saying,
what is the prevailing?
Barkley. The field is going to play running back.
What's the prevailing narrative tonight? Let's start with that. What's the narrative that most people will be on?
Close game. So
low scoring game that people think both these teams suck, right?
So I think people will probably overplay the defenses, overplay the running backs. I'm sorry, yeah, both play defenses and running backs will be overplayed.
And the kickers.
Most likely kickers, yeah.
You don't think the kickers will be overplayed?
Yep. I mean, they probably will be. They generally are overplayed in most slates, but I don't hate them as value. I think my two favorite captains are probably Sterling Shepard and Danny Dimes, because those are like pretty direct pivots off what I think the field is going to be doing. Like, I don't think Danny Dimes will get hardly any love at captain. Yep. I don't think Shepard will either. So, yeah, I think those are good. And then I think Lamb is probably my next favorite captain. He's still getting peppered with targets from Cooper Rush. So, yeah, I don't mind playing Lamb as my captain.
You know who I really like? I like David Seals. He's just like, he catches big passes. And like, all you need is one big touchdown from him, and because he's overpriced, I don't think people are going to want to put him in their lineup. I mean, you can see that Run the Sims is only projecting him at 5%.
Yeah, and he actually ran just as many routes, but he's out there running wind sprints, right? So he's running routes on like 78% or something of the dropbacks, but he's only getting targeted like 9% of the time. So he's literally just out there running wind sprints. But to the extent the field's going to play him at 5% versus Richie James at 30%, like, their opportunity isn't that much different. Now, Richie James is getting open.
Is that what your ownership showed too?
Let me pull mine up now. Let me see.
Did your ownership show that also?
I
love Run the Sims, but I don't trust their ownership. I feel like 5% is a little optimistic that he'll be that low.
So I had Richie James at 31%, and I had Sills at 15%.
There you go. So, yeah, that is a little low, but still twice as much.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And their opportunity is pretty similar. Like, they're running routes similarly. It's really just, maybe Richie James is better at getting open, and so he's getting targeted more. But to the extent, like, any given play can break down, and Sills is the guy running, like, edge sprints, then, like, any play he runs can potentially be a 70-yard touchdown, right? So
Daniel Jones can get Shepard and Seals there. Right? He can get both of them there, right?
Definitely. But in that case, I'd want him as my captain probably.
Hello?
I'd probably want Danny Dimes as my captain in that case.
I'm just saying, like, if you want to play the Giants onslaught, which I think I'm kind of leaning towards just because I don't think that's going to be the narrative out there, I feel like if you want to play a Giants onslaught and really get different with it, you play the Giants onslaught without Barkley.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. You just assume that Danny Dimes steals the touchdowns, right? Like, if the goal, there's no reason. Like, he does rush for their team, so there's no reason he can't vulture the 2-yard touchdown, not Saquon.
Yep. You could go Daniel Jones at captain, run him out there with Shepard and Seals or James, whatever wide receiver you like more. And then that actually leaves you some nice run back money with the Cowboys. I think you could run it back with a couple of the Cowboys and hope that they're the usage monsters, right? Like maybe this is Lamb. The game CD breaks out or something like that.
Yeah, Lamb's targets have still been incredible, and he's obviously uber talented. So I like Lamb quite a bit in those run backs. I also think in that lineup you could play the Giants defense.
Yeah,
and just hope Cooper Rush breaks down and throws some picks, or that the defense scores.
How about this one? This is like my initial instinct is Daniel Jones, 2 of his pass catchers, and the Giants defense, and run it back with Cooper Rush and a wide receiver. And you're going to think that sounds counterintuitive, but my point would be, if he's getting sacked, if he throws a pick six, if something like that they're behind, he is going to be passing the ball a lot at the end of the game, and he's probably going to get some nice garbage points that's going to get you there. And likely the running backs for Dallas are out of it. Maybe Pollard's catching some passes and stuff, but I just see that's a way that he could get there, especially if he's going to be spending all of his targets on CeeDee Lamb or whatever target you think it's going to be for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like that. I think you could also, instead of doing Cooper Rush, because it basically, I'm not sure what salary constraints would be, but you could do the same thing with taking Cooper Rush out and putting one of the running backs in, and then you would just need the running back to outscore Cooper Rush. But that's going to hurt the defense. So I don't know if I actually like that versus the defense. I think I might like your
I'm never a big fan of running the running back from the other team against my defense, even in Showdown. I feel like a quarterback can throw a pick six, and that helps my defense, and weirdly enough, helps the quarterback for the game script. But there's very few things a running back can ever do that's going to help my defense and help his game script. They just seem directly contradicting each other.
Yeah, Pollard to a small extent, since he would get more involved, presumably, in a deficit game. But
right. I just feel like Pollard at 8,200, you're paying a fucking premium. I guess.
I think he's one of the best plays on the slate because he is so closely priced to Zeke.
Same thing with David Seals. The only thing I like about them, the number one thing I like about both of them is they're overpriced. Like they're too expensive relative to what they should be. And just like in golf, when somebody's overpriced, that attracts me to them because I know that that's naturally going to scare people off. They're going to say, "Why would I play this guy at 8,200 when I could go play this guy at 5,200?" That's the same player in their mind.
And if you play either of the $200 tight ends on Dallas, then you basically have no more concerns in terms of spending your salary. Like you'll have plenty of salary if you put in a $200 tight end.
All right, I think we can agree that picking the captain is the single most important thing. Let's just go over players that we are considering in our captain spot for tonight, right? I literally am only considering legitimately 4 guys that I would do it. And I'm not going to pick all 4 of them. I'm just saying 4 of them have made my semifinal cut, right? How many of you guys are you considering?
I'm in a similar boat.
How many are you considering and who are they?
Let's see. Right now, guys, I'm definitely going to play in captain are Shepard, James,
James.
Danny Dimes.
James is
Shepard,
ballsy.
James, Danny Dimes, and then CD are probably the 4 I'm actually considering. I'll probably play all 4 of them.
You said Richie James, right?
No, CD.
Yeah, but
Richie James,
so
Sterling
3 Giants
Shepard,
and 1 Cowboy. So it sounds like to me you're on the
Danny
same
Dimes.
narrative as me. Fuck.
Yep.
All right. So
I'm playing the Giants.
So no Saquon at captain for you.
That's the grossest fade, right? And if I was only playing one lineup, I probably wouldn't play Saquon as captain. But if I'm going to play 150, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to play 150 today or not, I would have a really hard time not playing any Saquon at captain. Like, that is a ballsy fade.
My captain.
But if you're just playing 20 max or whatever, fade it.
I'm playing a 20 max, and the 4 that I'm down to are Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, and CeeDee Lamb. That's really the only guys I want to run out there.
Wait, say that again? Sterling Shepard, Danny Dimes?
The 3 big Giants and CD.
Okay, so you did say Saquon. Okay.
Yeah. If I think the Giants are going to kick that ass, and that's the narrative I want to run with, I think I would be a little short-sighted to think that there is a ton of ways that the Giants whoop that ass and Saquon doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. It would take like an injury.
Yeah, I got to have him in my pool. If my play is I think the Giants are going to win this game by 10, 14, 17 points, something like that, which is probably going to be my narrative, I got to have Barkley in my pool, and I have to have Barkley at least in the captain rotation.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's why I said if I was doing 150, I'd have a really hard time fading him. If I was only playing 20, I think I would probably rather just have more Shepard and James and Dimes lineups. But yeah.
Do you really think Cooper Rush is really only going to be 1% captain rate? Because if that's true, I'm absolutely playing him at captain. Absolutely playing him at captain.
Let's see. I've got Cooper Rush at 6% captain.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Run the Sims. They have some questionable fucking ownership on here.
Yeah. Because 1% is deceiving, right? And that also affects everyone looking at the leverage, right? So everyone runs the sim on here, but no one puts their own ownership up against it. Yep. So you get these wonky-ass leverage numbers where you're like looking at Cooper Rush looking like he's the nuts play at captain, but you're like, nah, fucker, he ain't going to be 1% owned.
Yeah. Hey, what do you have his on the numbers you ran, what do you have Cooper Rush showing up as an optimal play?
Let me pull up my
Is it higher than the 36% they have it at, just out of curiosity?
Well, I didn't change any of the inputs in mine. I ran just the generic sims. Let's see on my first cut.
Let's go back to
Cooper
inputs.
Rush,
Let's see if
I had appearing total 48%, 42 in the flex.
All right, and then that's how much he shows up in the optimals. How much is he? How much do you have him owned at? That sounds like I don't think he's going to be 48% owned.
Yeah, I've got positive leverage on the flex for him. Pretty much neutral leverage at captain.
So now I'm really starting to warm up to the idea of a 4-2, 5-1 Giants onslaught, run it back with Rush and 1 pass catcher. That's what I'm really starting to like for my builds right now.
I mean, the highest captain leverage I have right now is on Daniel Jones and Sterling Shepard.
Daniel, yeah, okay, well that's good. Although I will say they got old Danny Jones at 21% captain rate on here. What do you have him at?
Ownership or how often he hits?
Oh, now they got him down to 16. So I guess they updated some ownership here.
I've got him at 16.6% captain. I've got him owned at 10.1% captain.
Let's see, Cooper Rush. So now they've got Cooper Rush up to 8% captain mode. Yeah, so they're actively updating this as we speak here. So what's
it looks like actually I'm looking at their inputs. It looks like they're done with inputs, right? Let's see.
So
Nope. I caught them in the middle of X's and O's updates. I just got an update that says you caught us in the middle of updating our X's and O's.
There it is. Well, it's nice to see they're trying to
give them a few minutes.
So we've already talked about the captains. We both got 4 guys we're considering. Let's talk about punt plays. Let's talk about some guys that like we're willing to rotate into our player pool that are kind of punts. You know, like basically, $5,000 or less. We'll say we'll make that our cutoff, right?
Okay, so looking at the $5,000 or less guys, I think there's some pretty clear punts. And I wish that I knew what they were going to do with tight end on Dallas, because the $200 guys are almost must plays if you knew one of those guys is going to get out there and run, is going to be the tight end, right?
Because one catch for 2 yards is 6x value, right?
Oh, I mean, those guys pay off in no time. Yeah. And honestly, part of me wants to play both of them, right? But then you get into a really wonky ass build.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to rotate in and out.
You just don't need to get that cute though. I don't think you
need that salary.
You don't. Not on this slate. There's not enough fucking stars in this one.
Because you could captain CD.
All right.
How about Captain Saquon, play CD, play Cooper Rush, play Daniel Jones, and 200 guys. And I think you
still have a ton left over.
You still have more money than you can spend.
So hey, here's a question I got for you. If you like one of those $200 tight ends, you build a lineup and you really, really like it, and it's got Ferguson in it, right? Wouldn't it just be smart to go take that exact same lineup and then just go put the Hendershot guy in there?
That's exactly what I said. You need to treat those guys as interchangeable, unless you have information that one of them is getting an opportunity that the other one isn't, in which case please share that with me. But I think you have to do that, because right now we are at a complete input volatility because we don't know who is going to get the targets there.
So,
which is why we zeroed out one when we were planning on zeroing out to run the sim, because then you can just treat them as fungible. You say, look, the $200 tight end hits the sim this amount of time.
It would look like, according to Run the Sims, actually neither of them are getting ownership on here. Oh wait, they'll flex us. No, the captain rate. Okay, yeah. So they're showing them getting no ownership. What ownership do you have, Matt? Do you got any feel for them?
I've got Ferguson at 13.5 and Hendershot at 8.5.
Wow. So is it not viable to just fade both those fuckers?
No. If they're going to be on the field,
you got to play them
at $200. I think you have to play one of them,
right,
or both of them. Honestly, I think part of me wants to put one of them in every one of my lineups.
Gotcha. Wait. So then would you just do 10 lineups and then just go flip the other guy in the other 10 and there's your 20 lineups?
I mean, part of me thinks that's the play. I mean, we just don't know, right? I would love to see someone put out, Ed Warner or someone put out a tweet that says Dallas is going to give Ferguson the first run at tight end or whatever.
I got my screen up, so I can't do it, but you could be over there twittering right now. Go search their name on Twitter, motherfather. Okay.
Let me see. Riveting content. Let me see what I can find.
While he does that, I will entertain you. All right. There's 3 guys, right? They walk into a bar. I'm kidding. That's not where we're going to go here. So if you want to know the rest of that joke, tune in Sunday. So, okay. Zeke and Pollard, man, the only thing appealing about them is their price tag. I think that kind of is going to exclude them. It's just in the narrative,
real quick.
The narrative that I want to play, I just don't see how Zeke could ever get there in my narrative, right? If you think the Cowboys are going to be leading this game, I see a million ways Zeke gets there, but that's not the narrative I'm playing. So in my narrative, I can't see him getting there. So he's basically, he's off. I really want to run Giants onslaughts with Barkley, Daniel Jones, Shepard all rotating. And I might even do some CD Lamb, kind of like I did last week with Deontay Johnson. I played Deontay Johnson as my captain and then played 5 Browns below him. And it actually worked pretty well, playing the single captain from the other team, because he was kind of getting a lot of targets and was a usage monster. Is there a way that CD Lamb could be that usage monster tonight?
Oh, CD was already the usage monster last week. I mean, he got 10 targets or 11 targets, even with a sub-tier quarterback. So, no, I think he is the usage monster on that team. And if they get behind, him and Pollard should have a field day if they get behind. To the extent the offense does anything, if they get behind, it will be through Lamb and Pollard, in my opinion. But I think there's a real chance that if they, like you said, you weren't going to play Zeke, because you corrected yourself saying in your game script there's no way he can get there. But I think there's a very real chance. I mean, I'm just not playing it, but I think there's a very real chance that Dallas comes out is better than expected, leans on Zeke and just rolls.
Absolutely.
Rolls the Giants. I mean, the Giants aren't like, fuck, they barely beat my Panthers, okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a very real – so like the Dallas looked good. Not good. They looked pretty good against the Bengals without Dak, right? So there is like a very real chance that Cooper Rush doesn't have to do a whole lot. And he can like be a game manager and they just ride Zeke without Schultz there and let Zeke just get 30 carries. I think if you're building counter scripts, you should have Zeke captain builds.
If you think the Cowboys are going to win this game or going to control this game, I don't see how you don't have Zeke in your player pool. And remember, it's about you make your narrative. Make your narrative. Don't follow my narrative. My shit's not right a lot. I just pick it and I go with it. If the Cowboys are leading tonight and they're controlling this game, I'll be completely out of it. Hey, here's a good question for you. If I'm playing the narrative that the Giants are going to whoop that Cowboys ass tonight, right? They're going to really bounce out of it, and we're going to see the Cowboys are a fucking fraud. That's my narrative. Should I even should I just basically mark off Dallas's kicker and Dallas's defense in that narrative? Like they should never be in my player pool, right?
I probably wouldn't play their defense, but I think their kicker is actually pretty sneaky because in the lineups you talked about, an onslaughting Giants build, you could just play the kicker as your only Dallas player. And the thought there is like they get down there, they march down the field, but all they do is kick 3 field goals and never get in the end zone. In which case, homeboys won't be optimal.
Gotcha. Or
so I don't mind playing him as a one-off even.
I don't know this off the top of my head, and I probably should as a person who essentially does this for a living. How effective is Cooper Rush as a running quarterback? Like, is there a chance he's gonna pill for some yards?
No, I took the over on 2.5 yards to give you
2.5. Okay,
yes,
that's like Tom Brady low. That's Tom Brady low. Okay,
I took the over on 2.5, but it was because it was 2.5.
You're a wild man. You're a wild man.
Yep.
Okay.
So my hopes are not super high.
I've kind of been dictating everything we're talking about here. Is there anything specifically you want to talk about? We talked about who we want to play at captains. Hey, was there any other punts that you wanted to throw out there? You said the $200 tight ends. Was there? I mean, surely there's more we should consider, right?
I actually think the tight ends on the other side of the ball are pretty interesting too. Both Hudson and Bellinger.
Which one do you like more?
So, I mean, Hudson offers some pretty nice salary savings because he's only $1,600.
I'm not worried about salary.
He was a preseason hero, so like I know there's probably some people that want to play him because of that. But so what do I have his ownership at for Bellinger? I've got him at 9% ownership and a 9% sim, so pretty much neutral. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 4%, so negative leverage on Bellinger. And then on Hudson, we've got positive leverage. So he's only going to be 9% owned and has a 15% flex rate. So, like, again, that's from some input volatility. I have to look and see what the Hudson market share was. But I probably like Hudson.
This is a lineup that could get there, right? Daniel Jones, captain, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Bellinger, and then run it back with Cooper Rush and CeeDee Lamb. I don't know if you can make that money work, but we could probably get close.
And if you couldn't, you could always drop Bellinger to Hudson.
Exactly. And that would definitely save because you start putting those guys that are under 2,000 in your lineups, you save the money real quick.
I wouldn't be concerned about leaving salary on the table. Like some weeks we say you want to like try to spend a lot of your salary, but in Showdown I don't think that really matters. 1, but 2, in this week, like don't be concerned about leaving.
And if you are going to spend all your salary, make sure one of those spots is reserved for one of the guys that's priced too high. In my opinion, the guys that are priced too high relative to what they should be is Tony Pollard. I think is too high relative to what he should be. I think David Sills is too high relative to what he should be. And I think that Bellinger is too high relative to what he should be.
All 3 of those are exactly right. And side note, I thought it was Stills, and all my notes I kept writing Stills, and so in my head I'm like, this is Kenny Stills. Fuck yes. So it's Sills, Sills.
Yeah, this is David Sills. By the way, if you don't know, David Sills has some pretty interesting history. He played at West Virginia, but he was really famous because he was that 13-year-old quarterback back in the day that USC offered when he was like in 7th grade. Offered him a full scholarship. He was supposed to be the next God-given, super quarterback, and then he ended up playing receiver at West Virginia. So he was really good too. So he's a very good wide receiver, but he was the prodigy quarterback back in the day. And Kenny Stills is a Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner.
Nice. Did they rescind his scholarship when he no longer plays quarterback, or could he have been like, "No, bitches, give me my scholarship. I'm going."
Yeah, I mean, you know how you don't know about the college football scene, but like most scholarships now, they got this thing called it's not even committal, right? Like it's a non-committable. Like Alabama will give you an offer so you look legit, but like those guys can't actually commit to Alabama. Alabama, like we didn't really mean that. We're just trying to help you out, kid. So like that's a big thing. They offer you a scholarship, but it doesn't actually mean that you can go play football there. Is that not the stupidest fucking thing you've ever heard?
So that kid really didn't have shit. He didn't have a deal from them. They had a publicity with his name.
Yeah, exactly right. They were just trying to be ahead of the curve and show how they're whatever. Get the fuck out of here, UBC.
Okay.
Fucking turncoat motherfuckers.
So in the law, we call that illusory. You've promised me something that doesn't actually exist.
Yep, there's a lot of that in college football. Wait till all this NIL stuff. Okay, I digress. We focus again. So, other things. As I said, I've already kind of led everything we're talking about. So we've talked about 4 captain plays we both like. We've talked about punts that we're willing to play. We've talked about guys that are overpriced. Is there any specific topics you want to talk about? Should we talk about maybe contest selection for tonight or anything?
I mean, it's the same points for our Discord people. I think that's a good one for the YouTube because you get some new people.
Getting the new for the new guy. There's no new guys in here, brother.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, just don't play that fucking big field Millie Maker unless you're firing off a bunch of them. No, you're not getting any money back if you do, unless you bink, and get freaky weird if you play on that one. But
all right, I got one last
single entries. Go ahead.
I got one last thing I want to talk about. Let's come up with some different narratives. I think, this is like I would always tell my AP kids back when I was a high school teacher, do this, 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 and this. And they'd be like, they would be willing to do it. They just didn't fucking know how to, right? So let's kind of help these guys because we're always talking about make your own narrative, right? How the game can play out. But like if you've never done that, it can be a slightly intimidating proposition. So why don't we give them some different scripts? And then from that, maybe give them some players that would be effective to play in those different scripts.
Yeah, definitely. And we sort of started touching on it originally when we talked about, if you think Dallas has an opportunity to either keep this game close or get ahead, I think you rely on Zeke, and Zeke should be either in your flex or captain, because what this team does want to do is pound Zeke. Mm-hmm. To the extent they're in this game, they're going to pound Zeke. So right now we've been pretty much talking exclusively about Giants coming out to a lead and forcing Dallas to come from behind and throw. So that's like one idea of a game script. We think the Giants take a lead, and Dallas is forced to shelve their running game and rely on their passing game. So in that case, you'd be playing Dallas passers with Giants, and you probably need a little bit of Giants run because if they're ahead, they're probably going to rely on Saquon, right? Both these teams ideally would want to rely on their running backs if they're ahead. Now, if you think it's a close game, I think you need to be playing running backs of both teams because both teams ideally would just grind this game all night long until we were drooling at the mouth and wanting to turn off our TVs, right? Mm-hmm. So if neither team is going to get out ahead, I think they both just run the ball, and this is a slow, boring game, in which case you should probably be playing defenses. You should probably be playing your
on that note,
and running backs.
On that note, directly what you're talking about, Ben over here asks, how many points would the Cowboys D need to get to be a viable captain? And I think that's at least if you want me to answer that, I think that's kind of a fluid answer, right? If the game is low scoring, it really is a 17-14 game, they may be able to get there with like 12 points, right? They could end up being that play with just 12 points if no one's really going off. No one's scoring 25 or anything because they're so cheap. If this game ends up being more like a 28-24 game, I don't really see any way that they get there outside of scoring 25 points, and I can't see them doing that.
I mean, the real answer is the way they make it optimal is that they outscore the people below them. And so, to your point, the ways that happens is a low-scoring game where no one down below gets a salary that pays off their salary, right? So the Giants defense can get there by scoring 7 if Mayer doesn't score, Gano doesn't score, Tony's not playing, Brightwell doesn't do anything, Fiaco doesn't do anything. Like if none of those guys do anything and the Dallas defense scores 4, well, they're going to be optimal. Now, more than likely what you would need is a low-scoring game and like 7 points would be fine. Or a high-scoring game and anything above like low teens, like 13, 14, which really isn't that hard to do if you think about it. I mean, that's a score and a sack and like a couple of points against. I mean, So I think Dallas's defense definitely has paths to being optimal, but it's in a game script where you aren't playing Giants, or you're playing Giants pass catchers. You're not playing Saquon, that's for sure.
So back to the narratives real quick that I got us off topic. Another narrative could be like, if this game is going to be a slog, right? It's going to be a rushing slog. who are some people you'd be targeting? I'm assuming Saquon, Zeke, the kickers, the defenses, maybe one or two possession receivers or a tight end or something like that. Because if one of those punt tight ends gets a touchdown in a slog of a game, he all of a sudden becomes a fucking home run, right?
Well, so in a slog, I think you can still play all the pass catchers, but you don't want to play very many of the pass catchers because exactly what you just said. Like, it's a slog game. It's going slow. Our running backs, our defenses are getting there, but one wide receiver, one tight end catches one touchdown. And that's, maybe that's the only passing touchdown in the game, whereas, ideally that's the only passing touchdown in the game. That dude's going to be optimal, but no other pass catcher is. Right. And so in that case, you want, just a single pass catcher if you think this game is a low slog. That's how I would play it. If you're playing more than one pass catcher, you sort of thought the game's already sped up.
If you're playing a shootout narrative, are you going mainly quarterbacks and pass catchers just because it's so much easier for pass catchers to have big games and shootouts than it is a running back?
Yeah, so I also want players that speed the game up. So by that, I mean like players that hit home runs. So to me, Pollard is a home run hitter.
Yep.
That
David Seals.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to be playing those guys because what that does is up-tempos the game. If there is a 70-yard bomb to David Sills, there needs to be a response on the other side. We can't now grind the ball. I mean, you can, but that's like forfeiting already.
I would like Richie James a lot more in those narratives too, just because like there's going to probably be more a sped-up game is going to lead to more targets for him.
He's 100%. That is exactly, yeah. Of course, yeah, he benefits the most as someone that's getting short target, like you said, possession receivers. If there's a faster game, he has more opportunity.
I just thought of something. The backup Matt Breida, is he viable at all? If I'm playing a Giants fucking blow him out narrative.
I don't know the Giants' usage on their backups. I thought when I was looking, Saquon was getting like an 80% usage rate. So I guess that would make sense, right? If the Giants really are blowing them out, they probably do save Saquon and let this dude get some run. And at $2,000, you don't need him to do a ton.
All right.
But my thought would be the scoring would basically be done by the time that Saquon got pulled.
Next one, home runs. Who are our home run hitters? Let's pick our top 3 home run hitters of this game. I think we've already established 2 of them, right? Seals and Pollard have got to be on the home run list, right? Guys that could just that one play could be the all they need.
Yeah, and I think CD probably fits that too. I think CD's a dude that can score on any play.
All right, I don't have a good third one, so I'm just gonna go with yours. Thanks, brother. Let's.
I mean, Danny Dimes too, right? He's getting like 16% of the rush shares on a team that likes to run the ball. Like, that's pretty viable for a quarterback.
Sir, so, I don't need to be sold on Daniel Jones anymore. He is God reincarnated.
I mean, we saw him trip over like that anthill or whatever on that one run, but like if he doesn't trip there and we all don't make fun of him for like literally tripping on an anthill, like that dude's legacy looks a lot better in terms of being a rushing quarterback.
The fucking 5-yard line is a great tackler, okay? A great tackler.
Seriously.
Right. Nick Marce asks, so Daniel Jones at captain, both defenses, both kickers, and a pass catcher. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
So how does that get there? Like, okay, so
that's what I'm saying. How does that get there?
Danny Dimes at quarterback needs to score more points than anyone else, so that's fine. But now you're also saying both defenses need to get there, and so what skill position players are scoring? So what do you say? It was both defenses, both kickers,
and a pass catcher, and a pass catcher.
So Danny Dimes gets there because he throws a touchdown to the pass catcher.
Not to mention that lineup would legit leave like $10,000 on the table.
He runs one in. He throws only one touchdown to the pass catcher. No touchdowns on the other side of the ball. Just field goals. And then it would have to still be fairly low scoring because both defenses still need to be optimal. Like, I think you're just tearing yourself into a super narrow range of outcomes. Like, can it happen? Yeah, fuck it, Showdown. Literally anything can happen. Is that where I'm going to spend my dollars? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't like it, Nick. I give a hard no on that, right? I tell you to follow your heart, but on that one, just follow the fucking delete button because you need to get rid of that lineup. All right. Andrew says, is Barkley's backup worth a look? It's so funny Andrew said that when we were just talking about it. Matt, our friend Nick right here just said Breida only has 6 carries in 2 games. With Montgomery and Coach getting hurt yesterday, I could see a narrative with a backup being in the optimal. Man, Andrew, I can appreciate where you're coming from, and I've seen some people win the $1 million by playing a backup quarterback hoping for an injury. But man, that's a really thin line to really be to be towing that line to get shit to go your way like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing a backup quarterback, but it is totally viable, like you said, to play Breida with the thought that Breida gets work in a true blowout.
Yes.
But your script needs to be a true blowout. And in that case, I don't even mind playing Saquon and Breida together.
Yes.
Because in that case, you could say Breida, Saquon fucked for 3 quarters and they put Breida in and he does enough to pay off his $2,000. I just, like, if he's only got 6 carries all year, do we really think unless they're up by like 21, are they really going to take the gas off on a division rival? Like, even if they're up 14, Saquon's probably still in that game.
Nick would like the record to show he was joking about that lineup. He was just doing it for in case it was a slog of a game. He's defending.
Thank you for the good content pieces, Nick.
Yeah, he's defending his good Christian name. Nick knows.
We know you're a smart man, Nick. I've seen your screenshots with your winnings. I know you're sharp.
I mean, he won $8,000 with fucking. He got Guido. He had Guido this week, 80-1.
Dude just slays.
He does. That guy has the best fucking screenshots of outrights I see. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I feel like we're done. 40 minutes to talk about this game I feel like is more than enough.
Yeah, is there any other questions in the chat? I just want to answer if anyone else has questions.
Hey, if you guys got questions, we will give you 30 seconds to get them in there. I hope you're not on the delay. It's 4:40 in the Lord's time zone. Which, by the way, I could go sneak in a night round of golf. How about I just say fuck this slate and I go play golf?
I mean, that's probably a better use of your money. I ain't gonna lie about that.
With this piece of shit slate. Or I could just make them while I'm driving around.
But do you remember saying that yesterday's slate sucked? And I believe, as we will learn on the review show, that you had one of your better recent Sundays. So yeah, I mean, shit slates can be good.
I won money in the thousands. I got a comma.
See?
I'm so numb. Like anything under, like, I'm telling you, like under 10,000, I don't even fucking get excited anymore. It's debilitating. All right.
I would have legitimately been pissed in a break-even week if I didn't win my seat.
Yeah, that's all right. And at least you got rainmakers. Brett wants to know, thoughts on playing Zeke and Pollard? I have a strong take on this, Brett, and then we'll hear John's. I don't see any narratives that I like where they both get there. Could they both get there in a game? Yes. But I don't even see, if I were to pick my top 3 game narratives, and no narrative do both of those guys get there at that salary. So I hate it, but it's your fucking world, Bob. So if you see one where they both get there, play it. What do you think, John?
So I definitely wouldn't play them both with one of them at the captain. I think you would just need such an outlier performance for them both to be viable.
I think you're cutting out. You think you would need a what?
Shit. I said I don't think you could put them both.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I'm still here.
I hope I didn't go bye-bye. Oh, well.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
North Carolina. Is that North Carolina? All right. Sorry. Yeah. So, Brett, I think what he was trying to say to finish answering your question is he said that you can play them both, but not at the captain because it's going to be so hard for one of them to be the highest possible scorer in the game. And that's usually what we want from our captain spot, right? So if you're going to play them both, probably play them both in the flex because there's no way that one of them's going to get there as a captain and not the other one. If you guys can fucking hear him, that's great because I can't fucking hear him.
So the only thing is I would add to that, if you can hear me, is
I don't know. Maybe he's still there. Are you still there? I can't hear you if you are. Fuck, whatever.
So it needs to be a shootout.
I think we're done. Hey, guys, slip into the DMs if you have questions, okay? We'll be here to help you. I might go play some golf because why the fuck not? Good luck, guys. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you have them. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. Later.